Hey, thanks for tuning in, and thank you for your patience. In the last episode, we worked on the cockpit and sealed up the fuselage. Let's jump in on this episode. You start by adding some weapons pylons to the underside. This is for the nose landing gear bay. You can make these open or closed. I originally went with open, and I'll show that. However, in the end, I thought closed would look sleeker and better with the plane in a parked state. These are in the closed configuration, primed and being painted in the base coat. Despite being pretty busy with work, I had a productive June on the bench. I just finished the Tamiya Ford GT, and that'll come out next. The two main landing gear lower halves are a little different. This is the starboard one. You can't really see the seam, but I wanted to clean it up a little. You might have seen I'm well into the Tamiya A-34 Comet. I just have some chipping, grease effects, dusting, and stowage stuff to do. The Big Bertha is progressing, but all the weathering, etc. is taking a lot longer than I thought. The Part 2 finale will come in time. I just need to tackle it slowly. The wings went together superbly. Just a couple of tabs to clean up, and they indexed spot on. I started at the wing root and worked my way around the front, then back on the trailing edge. This was very straightforward. The pylons angle in just slightly, but the wing is at a slight gull angle. That's why. I'm adding some clear UV resin. In the end, you can hardly see in there. It leveled, and then I hit it with a UV mini light for about 5 seconds. I didn't even sand those. I'm priming it here with Mr. Surfacer Gray. Test fitting to get the angle right. My next plane, which I'll start after this one, will be the Copper State Models Bristol Scout C. I'll do a box opening. Thank you for voting. The Vulcan I'll do after that. I won it last week on auction at Moss 6510. A light pin wash there. Then hitting all the edges with steel pigment. No real vacation this year. There's just been too much stuff going on. So I think my 9-year-old camera might be going. I'm finding it doesn't properly save, occasionally. I just recently did these. I painted the tires in rubber black with a little gloss black in it. I added very light shades of brown to the outer surface. I then stencil sprayed the wheels in white and weathered with a pin wash and steel powder. This is for the port wing. I've been building that PBY-5 seaplane on and off for a few months now. Even at 1/72nd, the thing is massive. I layered in some tape that I can tweeze out after painting. I needed to clean up those seams a bit after. The weapons will all be prepared in the next final episode. You'll see the tail parts done in just a bit. You've seen me do this before. I pre-shaded with Mr. Surfacer Gray over the black. Before I put the wings on, I attached the nose and tail clones. Like I said, I was really in the modeling zone the last several weeks, and I just rode that wave. The wings attach great. When you attach the wedgie piece, it all fits nice and snug. The seam is so small, it's basically undetectable. You can leave this open. I made it closed. These all go together fine. Some had a more prominent seam that you need to deal with. That does wiggle a bit when you fit it. I wanted to paint the area just under the engines before those go on, or I'd get speckling at the join from the vortices. That's the light ghost gray. On the actual plane, the fans are more recessed in the nacelles. I found this set of files on Cults 3D for free and printed out the fan and center cone. I painted the inside before I joined them up. I sliced it down to that indexing ridge with a razor saw. Over the steel color, I'm lightly spraying between the rings. First exhaust manifold, and then pale burnt metal. I then unified it all with a light misting of jet exhaust. I then glued the fan to the front. Again, just painting the surfaces that would be harder to do when attached. Time to put it all together. That ridge fits in that channel there. The back of the fan will stop at that channel. I marked it so it would be easier to line up. I got them in. I used a small ruler to be sure it was back evenly. It just pops right on. The seam gaps are extremely small. It's time to paint on the light and dark ghost gray colors. I sprayed on the light gray until the pre-shading was just visible. The masking for the dark ghost gray is straightforward. A mix of Tamiya tape and AK camo putty. The kit comes with canopy masks that went on great. I taped the underside for any overspray. And that's it with most of the dark ghost gray on. I exposed the front, top fuselage surfaces, remasked, and sprayed the rest. I'm going to attach the last step canopy parts at the end. Those drilled out just fine with a .025-inch bit. This was a good place to stop. In the last video, I'll color modulate the surfaces, decal, and weather, and add the weapons, landing gear, final bits, etc. Thanks for watching. As always, I appreciate it. Be well and happy modeling.